the living memory of generations. The saving force of the wonder-making icon of the Mother of God came to us back from the 12th century. Monks from a faraway Constantinople carried the gift to Russia by sea and earth as a gift from Byzantine Patriarch to Kiev Prince Yuri Dolgoruki. His son Andrei Bogolyubsky, having moved the Russian capital from Kiev to Vladimir, he took the reverend icon of the Mother of God with him. Since then it is called Vladimir icon of the Mother of God. Though it has become the sacred object of worship of the whole Russia long time ago, it has been kept in the main temple of the Russian capital Moscow Cathedral of Assumption for many centuries. Now it is a precious relic of the house church of Tretyakov Gallery. Vladimir icon of the Mother of God has seen a lot of grief in Russia. Civil wars when brother fought brother, striving for profit and power. The icon of Novgorod Suzdal fight that happened on the 25th of February 1170. Another icon, Borising Gleb on horsebacks, shows how the sons of Kiev Prince Vladimir were innocently killed by their condemned brother Svetopolk. They are the first Russian saints canonized for their martyr deaths. Quarrelling princes were seeking help from the warriors of heaven like George the Victor and Dmitry Solunsky. The picture of Dmitry Solunsky, created in the very beginning of the 12th century, has been preserved on a fragment of mosaics from the cathedral of the Golden Roof Monastery in Kiev that was demolished in 1936. A fragment of fresco of Nicholas, who has endured persecution for the Orthodox faith, is from the same temple. Nicholas, the wonder worker, is the most favorite and honored saint in Russia. He is a protector and fast helper in grief and sickness, in mundane and war. War was the form and content of life in ancient Russia. Princes fought each other as well as tribes of nomads such as Polovtsy, Khazars and Pechenegs. Voices of plowmen were hardly heard in Russian land, but ravens were crying out loud, dividing corpses. Having read in the 19th century an ancient poem called The Song of Igor's Campaign, one artist, Viktor Vasnetsov, painted a picture of a battlefield after the fight of Igor Stanislavovich against Polovitsyns. Then Russia was covered by gloomy clouds of Batey hordes. Another 19th century artist, Vasily Smirnov, glanced into the depths of centuries and pictures Michael, the Prince of Chernigov, imprisoned in an enemy camp. "If you don't humbly beg my gods, you'll die a severe death," he was said. But the prince didn't betray the faith of Saint Russia. These pictures wouldn't have been so authentic if not for the history of the Russian state after Nikolai Mikhailovich Karamzin, Columbus of Russian history, as Pushkin called him. Vasily Andreevich Trepenin created this portrait of the great historian in his lifetime. The art of portrait is wonderful and mysterious. These people don't exist anymore, but their faces are alive. One can look at their eyes, recognize them, and know their names. All this was preserved only owing to these portraits. How many people would have known the face of the Count Fyodor Ivanovich Rostopchin? He was a famous Moscow aristocrat, Governor General of Moscow in 1812. That is his wife, Catherine Petrovna Rostopchina. A very dreamy woman looks at us from the portrait. She is ecstatic and mysterious and has a hidden inner world. Both of these portraits were painted in pre-war Moscow in 1809 by Orest Kiprensky, a young but already famous portraitist. He was the first Russian artist who was honored to place his self-portrait into the gallery of Uffizi. Later on, another Russian artist, contemporary of Kiprensky, Karl Brylov, was honored to do the same. He conquered Europe with his famous painting The Last Day of Pompeii that pictured the tragedy of this Italian town. It perished back in 79 before Christ as a result of the Vesuvius eruption. There is another painting of this artist devoted to the tragedy of a Russian town. It is an episode of Pskov defense during the Living War. It is called The Siege of Pskov by the Polish king Stefan Batory in 1581. We see the old and the young, warriors and civilians fighting against the enemy. Gaunt felons, savior not of the human making, and the Mother of God are floating over their heads. The icon of the patroness of Russia, the Mother of God, is overhanging them, lifting her hands to heavens. Frantic Boyarina Morozova, with anger and grief, appeals to the Mother of God on the way to prison. She cries, "The Mother of God, defend our face from filth." That is the picture by Boyarina Morozova after Vasily Surikov. Russia before Peter I, church reforms of Nikon, dissidents of the church, persecution of old believers, and the noble Moscow Boyarina Feodosia Morozova was one of them. She did not submit to power and went to death for her faith. If not for this picture by Surikov, not many people would have known about this disgraced noble lady. Since ancient times, Russians considered their land to be an appanage of the Mother of God. The icon of Vladimir, the Mother of God, is the most ancient relic of Russia. Sorrowful is her face and grievous are her eyes. Blood of her sons is still being shed, and her grief of mother is inconsolable as ever. According to the legend, the first icon of the Mother of God was created by Evangelist Luca while she was still alive. Having seen the icon, she blessed it on the graceful help to people.